Now this radio definitely wasn't working before, but I've also discovered that the microphone isn't wired correctly either, so that's the next test to see if we can figure out how to wire this microphone, because obviously this is a Midland microphone and it doesn't look as though it belongs to it, so I'm going to have a go at rewiring this, and it's going to make it a little bit easier to use. I don't think that was the original fault, because I was shorting out these pins before when I first tried and it wouldn't go into transmit or receive then, so it was definitely a problem with these dry joints, and I suspect I've probably tackled about, I don't know, about 50% of the dry joints on this PCB. I'm sure there's a lot more. Anyway, let's rewire this. So I've just disconnected the plug off the microphone, and I've also opened it up so I can just see what's going on inside. So it looks like we've got a ground connection that's common, and I'm not sure if these wire colours are standard. So we've got a screen braid, which is the common. We've got a white wire, a red wire and a black wire, and it looks like I think the black wire is to put the radio into receive, the white wire is transmit, he said. I can key that up, yeah. So I guess that means that the red wire doesn't seem to be doing anything, but I think the red wire is probably the microphone. Probably doesn't help that piece of plastic's just fallen off. It's funny, I've got quite a big workbench here, but I seem to have been corralled into one corner by, I don't know, flammable things next to soldering irons and glasses and bits of screwdrivers and voltmeters, and it's always the case, isn't it? It doesn't matter how big your bench is, you just fill it with crap. Anyway, I've had this microphone boiling in a bucket of bleach for several days because there was no way I was going to put it near my face before that, and I guess we can reassemble it now. Ooh, I think I might just turn the microphone. I don't know what we call it, a little cushion a bit. I think I'll just turn that around because it looks a bit grubby on the other side. I've also just sprayed some cleaning spray onto the limit switch here, the transmit switch, so hopefully that should be working a bit better now. Oh, seems to be missing part of it. Where's the little arm gone? Oh, I must have left it in the sink. Back shortly. Okay, well I've just had a go at rewiring this microphone, and yeah, I think I've got it right now. Not that it's exactly technical, is it, wiring a microphone? But you've got to get it right, or it isn't going to work. These are always annoying me. These little like binding posts, and you've got to kind of thread the wires through them. I very rarely manage to get it correct. So I don't know what the correct route is through these little binding posts. But there we go. I probably prefer to put a dab of hot melt glue on it. And I pulled this microphone apart earlier, and I washed it, had it all boiling in bleach as I said, and somehow I managed to leave this little key, this little push button that keys up the transmitter, and I spent like an hour looking for it, and eventually my wife came in and just kind of picked it up a work surface and said, there you go. So sometimes you can't see for looking. But I was cursing myself because I'd spent hours looking for this little piece of plastic and I couldn't find it anywhere. Right, well, where did it go? It must So that's all rewired now. While I had it apart, I did give it a quick spray of switch cleaner. It does seem okay now. Let's just screw it back together. Does seem like quite a nice solid microphone. It's I've definitely had worse microphones on radio equipment. Construction feels very solid. So hopefully when we rewire this, it should go into transmit and receive properly. Kind of wondering what to do with this channel select switch. It doesn't seem to have a problem selecting channels, I don't think. I did switch it through the frequencies before, and it was increasing and going down. I think this channel select switch is working, but the 7-segment display seems a bit dodgy. I don't think it is the display, I think it's the switch. I've been trying to narrow it down, but it's one of them things where you touch one thing and it affects the display, you touch something down here and it affects the display. I'm not sure whether it's dry joints or it is within the switch mechanism. I think I've said that earlier, but it's proving really hard to pin down. And I have been looking, trying to look inside this switch to see how I can get inside it to clean the contacts or spray some service oil into it. And I'm not really seeing an easy way in. I'm sure this switch will come apart. It does look as though it can be disassembled, but it looks quite a big job, and I'm just wondering, is it worth doing? I guess it is. I mean, the whole point of buying this radio is, I think I said earlier, I paid £5 for it, so if I break it, it doesn't really matter, but it is a shame, isn't it, to break a piece of equipment when you're trying to repair it. You always feel bad when that happens, but when you're learning, as I am, then you've just got to put it down to, history, move on. It's one of them things. You try to do a repair, you break something, maybe you can repair it, maybe you can't, but you tend to learn something in the process. And I think there's probably no way to shortcut that. As they do say, shit happens, I'm afraid. I'm going to do the same to the plug. Give it a nice wiggle. Oh, that feels as though it's going in smoother anyway. Yeah, it's not as gritty. It felt very gritty when I plugged that in before, so hopefully that's helped. Now we've got a microphone on it, we should be able to do a voice transmit test, shouldn't we? Just notice we've got a couple of transformers here. Now, I'm sure that these are audio matching transformers here. Well, actually, that one is an audio matching transformer. And just looking at this one, it's just a choke. It's just wide in series with the main supply. There's a blue transformer here. And when I first opened up the radio, I did wonder when I saw the two transformers. I knew one of them was for audio, but I did wonder if one of them was a modulation transformer, because when I have worked on AM radios before, but a lot of it's been very old military gear or some mixture of valve and hybrids, and it's quite common to find a transformer used as a modulation transformer, and I did wonder if that's what it was being used for in this instant, but it isn't. It's just an RF choke. So just looking at the circuit, you can see that pretty much any connection here which goes to an external plug. So we're looking at external microphone speaker here. We've got RF chokes installed, and the same for the microphone. Every microphone connection here has a little RF choke on it. So it's interesting that even back in the 1970s they were thinking about stuff like EMC. I suspect you don't even find that that level of detail on modern equipment, but that's also probably because this is an AM transmitter, because in terms of EMC issues, AM is by far worse than FM, because you're getting much bigger changes in the waveform. With an FM waveform, you're only actually altering the frequency very slightly. In fact, in FM there's practically no change between the carrier frequency and the transmitted frequency, even when you're doing quite a lot of deviation. So in terms of actually noise, although yeah, you can get lots of sidebands produced, AM is by far worse. When it comes to dirty emitters, AM radios are worse than FM. Putting a cable tie around these speaker wires because I'm a little bit worried about ripping them off the board. Probably would have been a better idea to unscrew the speaker. Shall I do that? Overall, this radio's got a few little battle scars, but I don't think it's in too bad a condition cosmetically. Yeah, it's got the usual scratches around the front bezel, but considering its age, I don't think the old girl's been bad. Well, we've got the radio upside down at the moment, and it says we're on channel 14, so let's go back to channel 20. Do a transmitter test. I was going to say we're not getting any power, but that's probably because I haven't plugged the communication analyzer in. Not a good start. Take two, you'll never see that. What we're doing now, We're doing 2.4 watts just for cleaning a few things and adjusting a couple of bad joints. So yeah, so it looks like we were losing a couple of 100 milliwatts in that RF connector at the back, so could still be a bit grubby. So we're on, what transmitted frequency are we on? 20.2049. That has changed a little bit from what we were transmitting on the other day. It seems to have actually come up a little bit. I think when I was on channel 20 the other day when I tried it, we were getting 20.483, and now we're getting 20.49, almost 20.5. So again, it looks like just going through this radio and touching up some of those dry joints has brought this closer to frequency. I don't know what the frequency is. I'm guessing channel 20 is probably going to be 27-2500. I don't know, I'm guessing. I'm going to have to look that up in a minute. So we're transmitting, let's just check the receive again. RX equals TX, press that button, go into the receiver. And we're hearing a pilot tone. Not quite got this set up right, have I? Let's just go back to the transmitter check again. And we want to put this into AM. 1 2 1 2 test 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, and we are transmitting, but it sounds quite distorted. Actually, it's a bit of a hard test that using this service monitor. It often comes out a little bit distorted. So I'm just going to use the ancient CB Whisperer's words handed down by Richard now. I think it's at the CB radio repair channel. So thanks Richard, and of course it's wallow, wallow, wallow. Right, okay. I don't know how to get into this selector switch, but I'm fairly sure that that's what's causing me problems. Now, there's a couple of ways I could go in. I can unsolder it from this side and see if I can get some service oil. See, I think there's a cluster of switches of wafers, and I'm hoping I can open them up. Or I could probably go in from this side, but this side has got one of those very delicate, flexible circuit boards on it. And I think if we start trying to unsolder that, I've already gone over the solder joints, but I think if I try to disconnect that, I stand a good chance of just breaking it. So I think the best way to get in it is from this side. I don't know if we'll manage it, but I'm just going to try and solder it, see what we can do. Okay, so I've managed to fold that board up now, and I was hoping I could get into this switch now, which I don't know, I think it's a sealed unit. So obviously this central wafer here must be doing the actual channel switching, and I think there's two other switch blocks, which there's one in either side of it here. If I turn it over, you can see that the middle switch block isn't connected, but these two N1s are. So this one is actually driving the display itself. So it's these two end blocks that are actually appear to have dirty switches in them. I think they are sealed units. Again, I saw another chap opening these up, and again I think it was Mike's radio repair. I think that he said that the best way to repair these was actually to drill a hole in them carefully and then squirt in some cleaner. So I'm kind of wondering whether or not I should follow his advice to try and get some cleaner in. In fact, I think that's what I will do. I haven't got a drill in here. I think I might have a little scalpel I can maybe just try and grind away the top of this switch with. Let's maybe give that a go. I'll bring you back. Well, I've just with a mixture of using a soldering iron and a knife, I've just gone ahead and I've melted the top of this channel select switch, and I'm hoping that this switch cleaner is going to go in there and maybe do something. Just softening the plastic a bit first of all, and then I'm going in with a knife. Okay, created another hole in the top, in with the switch cleaner. Okay, my this radio's now sat on a big puddle of switch cleaner, so did we overdo it? I don't know. I don't think beggars can be choosers in a job like this. It is what it is. Right, let's see if I can reassemble the contacts now. Okay, it looks like we have success now. All the segments are now lit on the digital display. So I will count that as being a success. All I've got to do now is try and reassemble this wafer switch, which I've covered in oil. Silly me. Okay, now we've got the channel select LEDs working and it's all its red LED glory. I think I'd like to clean this panel front because it is really quite manky and disgusting. So I'm going to take this downstairs and well, as you know, the best thing to use on old radio equipment is the wife's toothbrush because it gets in all the nooks and crannies. So I will go and borrow her toothbrush and give this a bit of a bath. I think for today that'll do. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.